So, what do all these 613 laws have to do with us? In Romans chapter 7, Paul tells us we've been set free from the law. In other words, we're no longer bound to it like the Israelites were. But in Matthew chapter 5, Jesus says, I have come to not to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. So Jesus is saying, in some way, those Old Testament expectations are still in effect. Here's what's going on. The Israelites had all those hundreds of rules that they needed to follow in order to get right with God. Follow the rules, you're on God's good side. Break the rules, and you have to die. That was the system. But they were bad rule followers, just like you and I are, so God sent Jesus to do it in our place. Jesus kept God's law perfectly. That's what he means when he says he has come to fulfill the law. Jesus met all the requirements you and I could never meet. Then, after he met all the requirements for you, he paid the lawbreaker's penalty for you too. He died in your place. That's why Paul can say we're set free from the law. We're set free from the threat of the lawbreaker's penalty, from the threat of that death, because Jesus did all that for us. But remember, the law is still in effect. Jesus didn't wipe it away. It works like this. All the laws in the Old Testament can go into three categories. There's civil law, how the nation of Israel should be governed, who can own property, who can be in charge, what to do if you have a dispute with someone. Then there's something called ceremonial laws, how the Israelites are supposed to worship God, their religious practices. And finally, moral laws, how to treat other people, things like don't steal and don't murder. Well, we live in the nation of America, so we don't follow those civil laws. And we worship God in particular ways too, so we don't follow the ceremonial laws either. But it is still a good idea not to steal from people or kill them. That's the part of God's law, that moral law, how to treat other people. That's the part Jesus has in mind when he says the law is still in effect. So that's the part that still applies to us.